Right, we are live.
Good morning. We are live. Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 25th of December, 2024. For those of you who are celebrating, it's Christmas Day. For those of you who aren't, whoever your God, wherever they may be, have a good day. So, let's get going.
I like that, Mr. Ryan. Whoever your God may be, whatever your belief system is, listen, I wish all of you a very good day, a good Christmas, Connect with your family, friends, connect with your spiritual side, and here we are. And ultimately, that's why we're here, family. I just said it again.
You said it
family
again.
And friends. Yeah. So this stream is specifically for everyone, but ultimately those who are alone this Christmas and without their children. We're here. We're going to keep it lighthearted. We're here taking time out to support you and be here and just help you get through these next few days, to ensure that you don't give in ultimately and keep hold of hope.
And we are empathizing with those of you who are on your own today, because as you can see, or you may not be able to see, you may not be able to realize, but I'm in my office and Farouk is at work. So
neither of
us is at home. Neither of us is at home enjoying, whatever it is that people do on this day. So there you go. That's really where we are. But we want to keep it light today. We're happy to take questions, but I want to avoid, and we were talking about this the other day, myself and Farouk, when we were pondering doing this. I want to avoid sort of case-specific questions, and the reason I want to do that is because we obviously do that in our normal broadcasts, in our normal live streams. We take questions from people about their particular cases, and I answer them as best I can. Today is about us just spending some time with anybody out there who is on their own for this morning or for the entire day, or who is on their own as a result of the fact that life hasn't been quite as fair to them as it could have been. Regardless whether you're mums, dads, grandmas, granddads, whatever you may be, Omars, whatever you may be, whatever the circumstance, we just wanted to spend a little bit of time this morning, an hour and a half, however it runs, just chatting really and saying hello and talking about this great land of ours and what we're up to. We've got some plans that we're going to talk to you about for next year. I will talk about some of the interesting developments in family court this year that are going to impact on us next year. It's just going to be a general chit chat. That's where we are. We're in general chit chat land today.
Right. And so to correct you on something, Mr. Wright, you said I was at work. So just in case there's any organizations watching, I'm not at work. I don't have a job. I am just babysitting an office for a friend because he wanted Christmas Day off. And you know me, I like to just help people out. So I'm just here.
He likes to help
people.
That was entirely my fault.
Yes.
That was entirely my fault. I meant you were in a workspace rather than in your normal studio. Yes, you were in a workspace.
Absolutely. And as some of you may have noticed, I am actually dressed in professional attire, shirt and tie. I'm going to try and present this now going forward. There's levels to this game, and I need to level up. I need to take things to the next level. Like Mr. Ryan said, next year things are happening. And I think he sort of indicated that my sort of East London ghetto attire is cramping his style. It don't look good, man. It don't look good. So
I just want to know who your tailor is and have him shot.
Yeah, so I hope this suffices, Mr. Ryan, going forward, and this is how I will be dressed going forward. I'm getting some suits made, you know what I mean? I'm getting some suits done, trimmed, looking good, getting in shape. So it's all good. We're getting there.
That's nice. Get yourself down Savile Row and get some made to measure on. Lovely, beautiful. I like a good suit. The best suit I ever had made, I have to say, and I've had a few handmade suits over the years. Best one I ever had made was actually in Singapore. I lived in Singapore many years ago. I'll tell this story. Lived in Singapore many years ago. And I was told about a tailor who could make a handmade suit. And at the time, the Far East was the place to go for handmade clothing because it was pretty good price, but fantastic quality. Guy came to my hotel because I was over there with business. Guy came to my hotel, measured me up. I picked material, I picked linings, I picked the suit color, blah, 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 blah. He came back the following day with the suit.
Really? Bloody hell.
24 hours later, he came back with this suit that I put on. It was perfect on the first fitting, absolutely beautiful. And I kept that suit probably for 20 years. That suit, I got 20 years out of that suit. It was such a quality item.
Nice.
So yeah,
nice.
but they're still available on Savile. The problem with Savile Row now and Bond Street, down obviously downtown from where you are, is they're so expensive.
Yes.
For made to measure. You know, it's a beautiful thing to have, but it's an indulgence now, made to measure. That's the problem we have with it.
Apparently, what I heard recently on a podcast, that, do you know what you could do? And this is from like a very big influencer. He says, right, what he does is you could go to, say, Next and buy a suit that fits you reasonably, yeah? And what you do then is you take that suit to the local tailor, you know, up the road, dry cleaners when they do a bit of sewing or whatever, right? Yeah, let's go on Instagram, find someone local who, like especially in the Asian community, the shops that do ladies' garments and stitch and all that. You take your suit there, and they can just trim it to get the fitting adapted. So you could get £100 suit. They can tailor it to make the little adjustments, and that will fit you like a glove, like really. So that's on my to-do list next year. Get a proper suit that's gonna really fit right. You know what I mean? And combine that with all the training and exercise that I do. I mean, under this shirt, I don't know if you're aware, Mr. Ryan, but I am a bit of an athlete. I am a bit of an athlete.
Obviously, you are enough. You are an athlete.
By this slender frame, you know what I mean? I tell people.
No, I'm aware of the mixed martial arts, and I know that I will be safe when in your company. You will take down the bad guys. You'll start by trying to talk them down before you attack them. I'm delighted by that. I'm comforted by that.
Well, if we are ever in that situation, let me just tell you what the strategy is. The strategy is, we talk them down. If it doesn't work, the first strategy is run. Yeah, I know you talk about taking people down. I'm running. I was thinking of running, but
well,
you tell me about this.
My approach was going to be, see him. He does martial arts. I'm just going to hail a cab. I thought that would work for me.
Well, listen, man, I mean, I don't want to get all stereotyped, but people might think I might be the cab driver. People might mistake me. They might mistake me for the cab driver. So,
No, it's fair point. Fair point. Yeah, dear me. Yes. Okay. So you're right. We should move. We are moving with the times, and that leads us quite nicely now that we're talking about the fact that we need to move into suits. Although I live in suits, with being in the court system. But now that we're talking about moving into suits, let's talk about Arch Studios. This is our latest, one of our latest ventures, and this is a joint venture with myself and Front, which is great. And I love the fact we're doing this. We have just acquired in the last few days, literally in the last few days, the keys to Arch Studios. And Arch Studios is going to be a dedicated studio space that we are going to use quite extensively through 2025 and beyond, hopefully, in order to make online content. And in order to broadcast from, we've got an interesting project which we're going to talk about at some point during this morning, a little chinwag. But we've decided to take on a dedicated studio space, so full lighting rigs, full camera rig, blah 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 blah. So the whole broadcast as we go into 2025 will just become significantly more professional, and that's important to us. And also in order that we can start to produce some quite, aside from the light-hearted larking about stuff, some quite detailed content, free content, might I say, over the course of 2025 that gives people some insight into how to conduct yourself in family court, just a few snippets about that, but also with predominantly me providing regular updates about what is happening in family court. Because the thing with family court is, because it is secret, in inverted commas, and because there's a huge criticism about the fact that family court is secret, so things things happen in there that people are unaware of. The judicial system, the judges in family court, receive information on an almost weekly basis of changes, and I have a reasonable insight to be able to get hold of that. Excuse me, while I choke to death. I have a reasonable insight to be able to get hold of that. So, and some of it is quite interesting. Some of it is procedural, and it's not really of any real relevance to the normal people in the outside world like us. But some of it is incredibly interesting. That there's been a development recently about parental alienation, which is worth looking at. And so we're going to use those broadcasts in order to just keep you updated, which may annoy a few people, but that's life. Just to keep you updated as to what is happening inside the family court and the potential that has to impact on you if you are in proceedings or if you're heading into proceedings. Just gives you some idea of where we are. So that's a development for us. Arch Studios, we're going to start using it from January. So we've only taken it the last few days, and we've got to do some work to get it set up the way we want it. But dedicated broadcast space, it's all very BBC, really. It's all very BBC.
Yes, absolutely, guys. Yeah. So look, once this studio is set up, look, as Mr. Ryan explained, we're going to get plenty of content out there. So far, we've just sort of been, as far as the tech, the studio element has been concerned, it's just been a small idea that's just grown and built just to initially get the information out there, to try and help people where we can, just to get them through the system, just to potentially save a life, just give people hope. It's got to the stage now where it needs to be a lot more a structured approach, so we can get the information out to the masses rather than just one Q&A. So there'll be loads of small videos, 2-3 minute videos explaining basic stuff. Like, for example, so there might be videos saying, what is a Scott schedule? 2-3 minute video, boom, it's out there. So for those entering the system, it's not like they can't, I understand people can't watch a 2-hour stream, like go through, I don't know how many we've done, 10, 15, 2-hour streams just to get the basic knowledge. If they click on 1-2 minutes, what is a Scott schedule? Another video, what is a Section 7? Just simply explain in under 5 minutes, boom. So someone entering the system has the basic terminology down to a sort of they've got grasp of the terminology and the framework and the mechanisms of the court within a day. So you watch these little 2-minute videos, you'll have a grasp of some idea of what you're dealing with within a day. So that's the one aspect of it. That's with Arch Studios. That's going to be based closer to where Mr. Ryan is. In London, like I said, I'm building my own studio. I'm taking my studio to another level as well, hopefully some point next year. Get the studio built properly, the cameras aligned, everything. So when we go live, and when guests do come in, it'll be a proper layout, proper setup now. And like someone mentioned, the orange suit, the orange jumpsuit might actually be replaced with a proper orange suit. So I might get a suit made, tailor-made suit with stripes of orange in there somewhere, just to keep that theme going, maybe. What you don't like that?
Give me a minute to think about it.
What's wrong with orange? What's wrong with orange suit?
Well, there's nothing wrong with orange. I'm just concerned that an orange suit might be a bit more circus clown than. Let's try it. Yeah. Let's try it. Yeah, let's see the drawings, and I'll give you my view.
All right, look, now that you've said it like that, look, it's a shade. It'll have a few little shades in there. So it could be a black suit with a little
okay.
For example, your shirt. I got an idea. So like the shirt you got on. Imagine so it's a proper shirt with maybe like orange, maybe some orange. Look, forget it. Just have an orange tie. It'd be a normal shirt.
Yeah.
It'd be a normal coloured suit, black, blue, whatever. I'll just have an orange tie. How about that? That's orange tie.
Well, actually, let's stick with it. Let's go back to the pinstripe. I like a dark suit, orange pinstripe, and then the stripes and the orange and the stripes are a throwback to the original brand, which I like. And also, it is synonymous with a little arc, a little echo back towards being incarcerated and being imprisoned in the family court system. So that's it. We've sorted it out. We've just delivered the brand.
Absolutely, we'll go with that. Yeah, listen, mate, I'll get onto my tailor. I'll get onto him straight after this. Boom.
Get onto your tailor and tell him to get on it.
Right, let's.
Right, okay. So let's see if any. What you got on the chat while we just.
You got loads of comments. Yeah, loads of people saying Merry Christmas. So everyone that said Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas back to you. Thank you for joining. Look,
Merry Christmas. That's Chris looked like he had his children with him, but there you go. Anyway,
Christian, yeah, that's Christian.
Chris looks like he's got. can't quite tell. Looks like he's got a couple of goals in. That's lovely. Super.
Yes, no, that's his thingy. Right. There you go. Right. Anton the Prodigy. I just spent half the day today with my children. First Christmas in 3 years because of you guys. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication. Never give up. Right. You know what? That comment right there. I think that comment right there, guys. I want everyone to just listen to that again. Yeah. I just spent half a day today with my children. First Christmas in 3 years. In the 3 years, and this is the bit that people that are in the system need to understand, that in this moment in time right now, you might be in pain, you might be in turmoil, your world has collapsed on you, you are questioning every part of your life, wondering how you got here, how on Christmas Day, an international holiday globally, right, where people spend time with their family, you're not with your children. And this is where you start having dark thoughts. You start having these negative ideas. You feel like giving up. But this is the point. If you give up now, you will never know what is to be next Christmas or the one after. The key is this is a testament to now your character, where you have to hold it together for the long. You have to visualize and see something that you can't even comprehend right now. And you have to believe and hold on to that hope, because that will determine your actions throughout the next year and the year after. And eventually, eyes on the prize. If you never give up, if you just keep going, you can achieve this. You can get there. And 3 years, anything could have happened in those 3 years. But today, he's spending half a day with his kids. So that right there is a very powerful message. I want everyone to just take heed of that and take that in.
Absolutely, keep the faith, and that is wonderful news, Anton. We are delighted. Irrelevant what input we may or may not have had in that, but it's wonderful that you're going to spend some time with your children. And yes, and exactly as Farouk says, it gives everybody a very clear message that you keep the faith, you keep plugging away. Hope is eternal, and you'll get there in the end. But that's fantastic. Enjoy that day. Enjoy those children. I'm sure they're going to have the best time. And great, wonderful news, wonderful news.
Right, Mr. Urshad, again, great idea. Right, another message from Anton here is followed up. My heart goes out to all you fathers that are still fighting the good fight. God bless Farouk, you're the man. Anton, I agree, you're right. I am the man. I don't think I can argue with you.
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that. Anton, he is the man.
You know,
yeah.
I don't like to accept.
Don't worry about me. Yeah,
I don't like to accept.
Don't worry about.
I don't like to accept this praise. Look, because me being such a humble character, humble individual, I'm not saying this. Anton is saying it, so I'm not bigging myself. Look, Mr. Anton, I'm not saying it. I'm a humble guy. I don't big myself up.
No, I know that.
Anton's bigging me up. Let me say it again, Farouk. Let me repeat again for all the listeners out there.
Yeah,
Farouk, you're the man. I have to agree.
Yeah,
I have to agree, Anton. Thank you.
No, that's wonderful. That. No, you take. I mean, because to be fair, not 2 minutes ago, I thought Anton was a good guy. Now I'm questioning his judgment. Now I'm concerned. I'm concerned about Anton now.
This is another great idea.
Wonderful news, Anton. Wonderful.
Guys, this is a great idea. You see that?
Interesting.
Orange jumpsuits for our children. Look, I'm just saying, you don't want to give your children the wrong ideas. You know, the jumpsuit is linked with a lot of negative. There's a lot of negative associations with the jumpsuit. So yeah, I mean, great idea. Listen, if I can get merch on the back of this, great. But listen, you know, there could be some negative associations with the orange suit.
Yeah, they could be. I'm just concerned about, the contact from the press when they say, why is it that 1.2 million kids in this country are wearing orange jumpsuits? I'm just concerned about, possibly that will come back and bite us.
I'm going to get into my tailor. See if you can
get
maybe
we should consider merch.
Right, Mr. Essay.
Okay. Question. Right, let's have a look. What we got here? Let's see what we've got.
Right. Hi guys.
Quick question. Yeah, go on.
My FF is on the 30th of Jan. I got along well with my QLR in my PTR. Is it okay to send the QLR a draft of my questions before sending the final one?
Right. Okay. Let's deal with the acronyms first, just in case people aren't familiar. So So quick question. My fact find FF is on the 30th of January, and I got along well with my QLR. QLR is a qualified legal representative. So that is somebody who is appointed to you by the court for free, who assists you in a situation where you need to cross-examine somebody, where you need to ask somebody questions and you can't ask them directly, usually as a result of the fact that obviously there have been domestic abuse allegations. So you get appointed a QLR, that it's a solicitor, sometimes a barrister, paid for by the court. They're quite limited in what they can do. They can't advise you. They can only really assist you in being a mouthpiece. They can't actually give you any legal advice. Anyway, so SA has got a fact find coming up on the 30th of January. He had his QLR, so his qualified legal representative, available to him at his PTR being a pre-trial review. So this is a short hearing that takes place usually a few weeks before a fact find, in order that the judge makes sure that everybody is ready to enter the fact find, so no time is wasted, witnesses are worked out, etc., etc. So the question is this: is it okay to send the qualified legal representative a draft of the questions that you wish to ask before you send the final ones? The answer is yes. And I say that guardedly, and I'll tell you why. It really does boil down to the QLR. Some QLRs will be quite happy to engage with you and help you look at your questions and refine them, because there's an art to writing cross-examination questions. So some are happy to work with you and refine them. Some are a little more guarded, given that they're not getting paid apart from on the day. And they might just say, well, no, just give me what you want me to do. So it really does boil down to the QLR you've got. Some are very, very good. Some are a bit pointless, to be fair. If you've got on well with yours and you've got a relationship with him, then, or him or her, then hopefully you can engage with them and get them just to take a look over your questions for you. How many questions can I send? I'm not too sure of the amount. Thanks, guys. Happy holidays. Okay. How many can you send? During the PTR, there's a possibility that you were told how much time has been allocated to the cross-examination of each witness. So how much time is available for you to cross-examine the CAFCAS officer if there's one present, or a social worker, plus the other side, be it mother or father. That really guides your questions as to how many questions you could ask. There isn't a limit. If you have a number of allegations to address, your questions, providing they are addressing the allegations and providing the court with the information that they want in order to make a decision on those allegations, there is not really a limit. I've engaged in fact finds, and on occasions I do cross-examination, but I've engaged in fact finds where I've asked 20 questions. And earlier on in this year, I engaged in a fact find where I asked over 200 questions of a witness, and that witness was on the stand for a day and a half. But it was a very challenging matter. There was a lot of pretty unpleasant allegations, fairly heinous crimes. So it was a detailed opportunity. So I can't really answer the question of how many, providing all of your questions are proportionate and addressing the allegations. There's no reason why a judge will not allow you to carry on and ask them. But if your questions are going to take 3 days, at that point, the judge might not be too happy. I hope that answers the question.
You're right, guys. Before we go to the next question, I just want to say again, look, take time out today. If you are alone, if your mum and dad, so go and see your mum and dad. If your mum and dad are elderly, spend time with them, because they will also be missing their grandchildren. It's, like I said, this problem is not just yours, it's the whole extended family. So spend time with your mum and dad, uncle, aunts, relatives, brothers, nephews, nieces, sisters. Connect with the family that you do have, because one thing this should have taught you is family is everything. Without family, really you've got nothing. So go and connect with the loved ones that are around, or reconnect if you've lost contact with loved ones, other loved ones. Right, let's move on. Next question. On a serious note, the orange jumpsuit is a good way to grab attention and stand out. Exactly. That's why I did it. That's why the orange jumpsuit, an idea hit me one day and I just ran with it. And here we are today. And next year, let's see where we get to next year. Right. Mr. Hippo, hi lads, please advise. What are the advantages of living in close proximity to the children? I will be renting in-house share. I think this is a good question. And I think there are a lot of advantages that Mr. Ryan can point out.
Yeah, there are a huge amount of advantages, Mr. Hippo. Life is about doing what is best for your children. And so if you can be close to your children, then your opportunity to have a full relationship, wherever you are in the family court proceedings, and eventually you'll get to a point where you can have a full relationship with your children. And dealing with that when you're around the corner from them is significantly easier than dealing with that when you're halfway across the town or indeed in another town. It is about ensuring that the 16 years of childhood that they have, and that's it, and then it's done. And some would argue that, 16 years in the modern world is probably closer to 14 years or 13 years because they grow up so quickly now. But that 16 years of childhood, we as parents should endeavor to make the best of it for the children. So you being around the corner is absolutely more advantageous to those children and in the better interest of those children than you being halfway across the world. When it comes to family courts, so if there's any legal advantage, the legal advantage is you are demonstrating your commitment to your children by saying, look, I've put myself nearby in order that I can engage in school, I can engage in doctors if I need to, I can engage in contact with them. So I can do all of those things because I am nearby, and that is something that is important to me. So there are huge advantages. Having said that, and I'm not looking to decry anybody who isn't close to their children in geographic terms, because sometimes circumstances don't allow for it. And it's just about trying to make the best you can. And that does come with, and this is a conversation I have often with my clients, that does come with personal sacrifice. So that does mean that you have to put yourself out and do stuff that is necessarily not the most convenient for you, but is in the best interests of them. So get to know if you are far away from your children, but you have a contact relationship with them, then, get to know the inside of your car because you're potentially going to spend a lot of time in it. But pursue the children, do what is best for your children because childhood is short. Those of us who are at the top end of adulthood, by advancing years, appreciate that our childhoods lasted about 5 minutes. So they need to be the best 5 minutes we've ever had. Stay close.
Yeah, and I think also I'd like to add the fact that you can use that as a strategic element in your case. So sometimes the distance is used against you. If you're prepared to make and pull these moves strategically, if you're in a financial position where you can work flexibly, especially I say this to IT guys that can work remotely. Listen, all you need is your laptop, yeah? So you could use this to your advantage strategically in court to try and obviously, like Mr. Ryan said, for your children. Not forget anyone, forget the ex, but remember, eyes on the prize is to give your children the best possible chance of having a relationship with you so they become well-rounded, good human beings. This sacrifice is for them. So you can use this strategically in court. That's what I'll say. And also what Mr. Ryan mentioned about, again, I've got to say this right here, what Mr. Ryan mentioned about the childhood being a short time. Now, yesterday, while I was driving, I was watching this. I was listening. I would say watching because I was driving. I was listening to this thing on my phone whilst I was driving. And it was like, there's a film out there called, I've never seen it, but it's called Interstellar. I think it's called Interstellar, where this geezer, he goes into space when his child is young, his daughter's young. But when he's out in space, he doesn't age. But when he comes back, his daughter is not just a woman, she's an old woman now. He goes, you're going to age a lot. Our time zones are going to be different. And he said, when I come back, we're not going to be the same. You're going to age. I will not have aged, sort of thing, yeah. And for a moment there, that hit me, that time frame, that zone. So when you stop and think about it, because ultimately what is stolen is, you're never going to change the fact that this is your child, you're the father, that blood bond and whatever natural emotion that creates. But the element of what is stolen time can never be recovered. And it just hit me as I was driving that when I see my daughter, she could be a woman. It could it'd be a different time zone. I'm gonna see them in a different time zone. Once this time lapses, it's stolen time. And that the reality hit me where there's films about people going into space and back and not seeing their children, but my time is being stolen, and they're on the same area code potentially. This is the shocking factor that still hit me. But look, we're not going to let this drag us down. I thought I'd just point that out again of what we're fighting and why we're fighting.
Deep.
I'm a deep brother,
That's
bro.
very
I'm
deep,
a deep brother.
Very deep.
Listen. Last couple of days, and look, okay, let's talk about this comment. And you talk about deep. Let's just touch more on this here. You're not wrong, Farouk. I'm normally not. I just want to say again, I normally aren't. I am normally right. I agree with you. Sorry, I'm a humble guy. So I'm not.
You are the man.
As being a humble guy, I'm not saying this, but Mr. Stasi is saying you're not wrong, Farouk. I agree with you. I'm just agreeing with what you're saying. Every time I think I've finally accepted the loss of my son, the next I'm grieving again. It's such a terrible thing. You feel like your heart's skipping a beat. Now, look, a lot of people have said to me, right, over the course of the last couple of years, was it 3 years? I've lost track of it, People have said to me, how are you managing? How are you coping? And so I'm not saying this, other people are saying to me, because you're made of steel inside, you're strong. How are you dealing? You look too well still together, considering the circumstances and the situation. These last couple of days, look, guys, driving, again, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, all of this is irrelevant. This is a universal time where you sit with your kids, you sit with family. Look, this is what Christmas is about, family. Yeah, it is about family. You sit together with your loved ones and you watch films. You have these moments. You're creating these memories. And even whilst I've been driving around, I'm generally in a good place. I see my children's faces. I remember the times I'm sitting with them. Like I said, I'm thinking of the lost time again, the lost time. This section of time has been stolen, and even listen, man, it shakes me up a little bit, and I have to pull it together myself. I have to pull it together. And again, as I keep telling people, I use that momentary pain because I'm not in constant pain. I'm so adapted to the pain. I don't feel it. But these moments where, like you said, when your heart skips a beat, I embrace it. I feed that fire. I fuel that fire more, and I think about them more. Because that pain gives you urgency. What people don't realize, pain gives you urgency. Urgency gives you action and concentration. And I channel that pain to think, right, this is what I needed. I needed this reminder. I needed this wake-up call, the eyes on the prize, the bigger mission. And I put this pain to good use. I use it to fuel the next few steps. I'm going to use this pain to bring the next idea, the next stream, the next podcast, whatever the next job is. I'm going to use this for creativity, for positivity. That's the answer. That's the key element. I'm using it for positivity. So people like Anton are now sitting there spending Christmas Day with their children. That's the bottom line. This ain't about me or just my children. This is about the bigger message, the bigger, wider societal issue to help others. And most of all, help those little kids out there be with their loved ones. Over and out. Over to you, Mr. Ryan.
Well, that is a more than valid point and beautifully put. It is, and the difficulty is missed time. When you lose time through proceedings, through being estranged from your children, people often ask me the question, what? Surely there's a mechanism by which we can get that time back, but there isn't. I mean, there just isn't. Life goes on. The days roll by whilst we're fighting each other in family court or indeed outside. And while those days are rolling by, childhood is rolling by with them. And so it's just important that we try and get ourselves to the end of the journey and back with our children as quick as humanly possible. And sometimes the family court assists in doing that. Sometimes the family court is entirely obstructive in that objective. But we do get there in the end. And as I say, we do have lots of examples where we have got there in the end, and today we keep harping back on Anton because he's a great example. But we will get there. We will get there, and we hope that when we get to the point where our children are stood in front of us again, that they quickly recall why it is that you are their parent, and quickly recall why it is that having you in their life is significantly better than not having you in their life. And that circumstance is often influenced by the other party, be that mum or dad. But children get to a point in their lives around, as I say, it gets younger every year, certainly in my experience, but around 13, 14, 15 years old, children get to the point in their lives where they vote with their feet. And that's a phrase that will be heard in family court over and over and over again, where children decide. And if a parent is absent for no real reason, and there are parents who are absent for very clear reasons because, you know, they need to be, they're not safe. But a parent is absent for no real reason, those children will go looking and they will find that parent and they will rekindle with that parent. And that is a magic moment. I had one very recently where we reconstituted a dad with his son for the first time in 5 years. And they met in a contact center, and they were in the contact center for about 20 minutes. And the contact center supervisor said, "There's no reason for you to be here. Just go off and enjoy your life." And they did. They left, and they're having the time of their lives now, and that's great. And they'll catch up the missed time. They won't ever get it back, but they can catch it up, with the magic of whatever they do going forward. Which seemed to have a lot to do with a remote control Lamborghini the other week. But yeah, so difficult one, always a difficult one, but we plod on. And you're right, 5-star, you're absolutely right that there are days where you cope with the hurt, and there are days when you don't. Neither of those days is right or wrong. We are all human beings at the end of the day, and those who are closest to us are children, because those children we had a part in creating and putting on this earth. Those children will always make us hurt the most, but the days will get better. The days will get better.
Absolutely, and use that lost time to discover who you are. Make yourself better. Start living on purpose. Make yourself into. Question everything you've done and what you're truly capable of, and are you living to your full potential? Are you living fully on purpose? So when you do have that lost time, you're a serious contender. Your kids can look at you seriously as someone who's not, you can't be taken lightly, as someone that they want in their life, because your presence just makes that impact. Become that guy, become that superhero, because to your kids, no matter what, you are their superhero. And when you see them in adulthood and they look at you and think, damn, that's my dad. I'm glad he never stopped fighting. I'm glad he kept going. That's because he's my dad. He's my superhero. You are that guy. You got to do what you got to do. Right, here we go, Mr. Krishnan. Right, that picture is from the contact center. I should be picking my daughters up 3 p.m. from their grands, but I got a feeling they ain't going to come. And it's my eldest daughter's birthday today. Happy birthday to your daughter, Mr. Krishnan. And hopefully they will come. Go in with a positive mindset.
Always different. Yes. I was just saying, but let's be positive. Let's be positive. Anton is leading the way today, so let's be positive and say that that they will come. That when you get there at 3 o'clock for your daughters, they will be there. They will be waiting. They'll be looking forward to seeing you, and to the time you're going to spend together. And even more magical, if apart from obviously it being Christmas Day, and that may not be where you are in terms of your faith system, but apart from it being Christmas Day, it is also your daughter's birthday, so double whammy. And we trust that she has a magical day, but most importantly, we trust that she spends some of that day with you.
Yeah, Krishnan, I want you to remove that thought out of your head. What else
have we got on that screen?
Sorry, say that again, Mr. Ryan. You were slightly delayed there.
I was just saying, what else have we got on the screen? But go on, you were going to make a point to Chris.
We got loads here. Hold on. But I was going to say to Christian, Christian, when you turn up, I want you to remove this thought out of your head, because the problem is your subtext, you've already decided that she's not going to come. Because you've already said that, you've manifested that, you've put that out into the universe. I want you to go in saying she's going to come with me. Or are we just going thoughts of joy? Don't think she's not going to, just thoughts of joy and the happiness that you're going to see her. That positivity. When you go there, I want positivity to be just oozing out your body. Because if they see you, they feel that positive, it affects their mood. That might affect their decision. But you need to project that good energy, that positive energy, that happy energy, happy vibes. If you go in with that subtext, it will play out in your behavior. It will play out in your body language. You go in with positive vibes. I want you to go in there with thoughts of happiness and joy. That's your subtext. Your subtext is what will play out. I want you to believe that. And I want you to walk in with that belief. Yeah. Try that today. Do not hold yourself back. The problem is we talk. This is how most people's internal monologue is negative. The brain is wired to think negatively, and everyone just is just giving into that. So what I'm saying to you guys is change your internal monologue, change how you talk to yourself. Yeah. Just constantly, if you can't be positive, but don't be negative. It's easy to be negative. So go in with happy thoughts. Right, let's move along. Both of you are legends. Right, there you go, Mr. Ryan. He's saying we're both legends, including you. So, you know.
I don't know. I'm still.
You're a legend.
I'm still upset by the fact that No, I'm still upset by the fact that You're the Man came out first. I mean, I'm a little hurt by that. I've got to be honest. I am a little hurt by that.
Well, look, facts tend to generally hurt. Truth does hurt. They say. Right, here we go.
Oh, wow.
5-star. He's got one for you. He's got one for you. Look, 5-star. He's there. Look. Appreciate Dan dealing with my bombardment of messages every day. Haha. Let me tell you guys something, yeah. Let me tell you something, 5-star, yeah. I understand you appreciate Mr. Dan dealing with your bombardment, but as Mr. Ryan said to me once, that's his job. That's why he's there, bro. That's his job to do that. That's what he does. That's why he's there. And look. To be fair, he's here. Look, straight up there. You know, Mr. Ryan, straight up white dude. On Christmas Day, he's here. And after the stream, he's still going to continue to work on people's cases. Look, me, you could argue, over the years, Christmas stream is always double bubble. I was the guy that covered everyone so they could have their Christmases. You could give me that pass, yeah. But Mr. Ryan, like I said, he's here and he's supporting people today. So look, credit to you, Mr. Ryan. I appreciate what you're doing. I'm sure all those listening and watching appreciate you. On Christmas Day. After this, he's going to be preparing and working on cases. So listen, mate, that's right there. You don't brag about it, but that's what he's doing today. You know what I mean? Right, here we go. Mr. Lewis.
Carry on.
Friday, I received my child impact report. The court recommended indirect contact with my 1-year-old and nearly 3-year-old. I couldn't agree with those recommendations because I've not seen 4 to 7 months. I've not seen them
for 7 months.
All right, I'm not seen for 7 months. Sorry, I got to decode that. Sorry, it was cryptic. I couldn't decode it. But that's why Mr. Ryan's here. He decoded that. See, he's the brains behind the operation.
Okay, yeah, child impact reports they're not a new development in court, but they are certainly growing in popularity, where the court is now using a child impact report to see if they can speed the process any. Obviously, Lewis, we don't know the details of your case, so I can't comment on whether indirect contact is just or unjust. I have a huge negative view on indirect contact because I don't believe it fulfills any purpose whatsoever apart from making the court feel better. And I always believe there are other ways of doing this particular gig. But you have the opportunity to challenge. Take that opportunity, present your case as to why it is you disagree with the child impact report, because it's just inappropriate. I don't know the circumstances, so there may be circumstances that have led them there, but indirect contact is never ever the way forward.
Right, got loads of comments here. I'm gonna start flying through some of this. Right, there you go, Mr. Ryan from Anton. Mr. Ryan, you're a legend too. There you go. 5-star orange jumpsuit is a good idea, though. Oh, here we go. Another one for you. Great answer. Thanks, Mr. Ryan. Flipping that, mate. This turncoat. There's a lot of turncoats in this crowd, mate. They've all turned. They've turned on me.
Hang on a minute. I'm going to start keeping score.
Mate, it's not looking too good here. This is right. When it comes to a hearing of addressing Scott schedules, not a fact-finding hearing, what can you expect, especially when there's false allegations? When does a fact-find hearing become a necessary, or when does a fact-find hearing become necessary?
Okay. So, Scott schedule, which is not really a phrase that the family court uses anymore. They now use schedule of allegations, but essentially it is the list of the allegations that have been made by one party against the other. What the court will do now is, because the family court has been criticised over the last couple of years by its own leader, by the president of the family court, saying that there are too many fact finds and that we are launching ourselves into a fact find at the drop of a hat. And so the president of the family court said, stop doing that. I now want to introduce a review process before a fact find in order that we can decide whether it is proportionate or not to push ahead with what is essentially a trial. So what happens now is the allegations are put before the court. The other party gets the opportunity to provide a written response to those allegations. And the court then considers two things. Number one, they consider whether it is relevant to the children to pursue those allegations. If those allegations are just all about dad did this, mum did that, dad did this, mum did that, but the children weren't impacted by any of them, dad ran his key down the side of my car just to annoy me, or mum spat in my food. If there's no relevance to the children, often now the court will say, well, they're just not relevant. You're not together anymore. The likelihood of those allegations happening again is almost nil because you're not together anymore. So it has we're here to talk about the children. So often they will now dismiss allegations on that basis, on the basis that the parties are no longer together. So that's sort of part one. Part two is the judge will look at allegations, and if there are some particularly nasty domestic abuse allegations from one party to another, despite the fact that they don't involve the children directly, the court has to consider the indirect impact on the children. So they have to consider that if there is an allegation that one party has been physically attacking the other party on a regular basis, the court's view is, well, is there a likelihood that the children witnessed that? Is there a likelihood that at some point in the future the children are likely to be exposed to that? Is there a possibility that, having witnessed that, the children have been influenced by it? And all of those criteria are then explored to decide whether a fact find should go ahead. But the court is becoming, just where I came in with this conversation, the court is becoming much more critical about launching fact finds because, as I say, there were just too many. They were launching them literally at the drop of a hat. So we will see a significant decrease in fact finds, and judges are now saying, that's not relevant, we're not going to bother testing it. That's not relevant, we're not going to bother testing it. The fact that you two don't like each other is not relevant to these proceedings. We're here to talk about the children. So that's where we are in the world of fact find.
Perfect. There you go. Right. For Mr. Ushat, just like saying Mr. Ryan is the man also. There you go. Flip.
I think that is definitely about 4-2 now. That is definitely about 4-2. I'm not keeping count because obviously I'm not that way, but I think that is definitely 4-2.
Judas. Word Judas comes to mind. Slander. Judas. Right. There's loads of comments here. Let's try and fly through some of these. Right, exactly. Why does the CAFCAS of the course factor in the missed time? We apply for contact because we're already missing time and they don't allow contact as the case is going on. Right, you've checked that out, Mr. Ryan, while I was trying to go through some of these. Okay,
well, the simplicity is this. As I say, the court can't factor missed time because when it's gone, it's gone. I'm going to keep this short and sharp. The reason that they don't allow contact as the case is going on in some instances is because the court has to take the safest line. And whilst we may know that there's absolutely no reason why contact can't go ahead because the one party is perfectly innocent of the allegations that have been made, from a court's perspective, if we just sort of put ourselves in their shoes for a minute, they are looking out from the bench and they're looking at two perfect strangers. They have no idea if either of those perfect strangers is an axe murderer. Consequently, they have to take the safe line and say, we just need to leave contact out until such times as we understand what is going on here. Supervised contact is sometimes relevant. Because obviously by its very nature there is a professional overseeing it, and the court, to be fair to the court, does try and get supervised contact engaged as soon as possible, but there is unfortunately some steps that take place first. So I appreciate the frustration, and it's obviously up to us. Our job, and the job of legals like us, is to try and ensure that we can get contact in the mix as quick as humanly possible.
Right. When you haven't seen your children for over 6 months, how is contact established, especially if they're under 2 years of age? Does the court or CAFCAS recognizes and provide solutions?
You see, what's happening here is Mr. Five Star has stopped texting me direct and is now sending all his questions via this link.
Look, I just want to say to Mr. Five Star, look, I say this here. You're focusing on the immediate problem as if you're focusing on your immediate pain. You obviously you're in pain. You've not seen your child 6 months, and this is the problem. You're focusing on your pain. Your focus should be shifted to a strategic position of the case, the long-term case. You should be focusing on the war, not this battle. This is the problem. You forget the immediate pain. You use the immediate pain to strategize for the long-term, clearer goal. So you need to stop this. I mean, when I say stop this, I mean you need to shift your mindset now. You need to shift your mindset for the battle. You're trying to, all these questions, and I know what you're saying. I've been there. I'm there. I've been there. I understand it. All of these questions are to try and appease your immediate pain. 6 months, listen, a war can go on for years. You need to shift your mindset, dig into the trenches, dig in, plant yourself in the trench, and you're ready to hold your weapon. You're ready to battle whatever it takes. This is the mindset that it needs, the trench mindset. When people are looking for comfort in the middle of a war, it ain't going to happen. This is the problem. Sometimes you have to embrace the chaos, embrace the madness. Then you can fight freely. He who is prepared to effectively, I don't want to say the word on YouTube, give it his all, will win. You need to shift your mindset to that. You are at war. You're trying to get comfortable in the middle of a war, trying to have a good night's sleep, trying to deal with this pain. Compartmentalize the pain, embrace the pain, and now move on, and you can fight fiercely, strategically, without this emotion. That's what you need to do. Right, let's move on. Right, Mr. Zion. Merry Christmas and wishing to all fathers around the world being lonely through these holidays without their children. May God bless us, bless our children, and thanks a lot to you gents for the live stream, for all your support through live streams and more. Appreciate your comments. Thank you, and I agree. God bless you all. God bless your children. Here we go.
Indeed, and we'll extend that comment, because as I say, we're not whilst we spend a lot of time talking about dads and supporting dads, but obviously there are mums out there today who are without their children through no fault of their own, as a result of circumstance and as a result of being entrenched in proceedings. So today is about anybody who is estranged from their children,
grandparents,
as a result of circumstances beyond their control. So we are sending our love and support to everybody and anybody who finds themselves in a difficult position today.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's not just fathers. There are obviously a case of a few mothers that me and Sarah know who have also been separated. That they are out there, 10%, but they are out there also add to the wider issues I'm talking about. Let's don't make this a mother-father issue. Ultimately, there are grandparents, aunties, uncles that are missing members of their family, small members of their family. So this is a wider issue, guys, like I said. Right, okay. I would like to personally thank Daniel for all his support and father/brotherhood mentorship in my case through the family court system. Yep, Kashi, thank you for your comment.
My pleasure, Kashi, my pleasure.
Right, here we go. Mr. Zion, I had a question for Mr. Ryan. Why does he think that in the case of domestic? All right, we'll pick it up. I don't know if you understand that. Well, it's cryptic again, but let's see if he's...
It's very cryptic, yeah. In case of what?
All right, if you figure out what you're saying, we'll jump back onto this. Let's go through your words and guidance, Mr. Cashier. Your words and guidance throughout the case will be a lifelong blessing, which I have so much gratitude and respect for daily. Here we go. Mr. Cashier's contribution to society in his work for helping parents have relationships with their children is God's work. Yeah, listen, man, this is important work. I keep telling people this is very important. We are protecting the generations to come. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. Thanks, guys. I'm staying positive.
But I do appreciate. I appreciate the comments you make there, Kashi, because I know we had obviously Kashi is a former client of mine. I know we had a very difficult time, but there has been some positive outcome, which is great. So we're pleased by that.
Christian, again, thanks, guys. I'm staying positive, but the same happened last year, but I'm positive have been. Thanks again. I just want you to say again, listen, Christian, last year's history. Forget last year. Be in the moment. Be present in the moment. Remember, guys, we talk about time. Life is only real and present in that one moment. This moment right now. Last year's history, bro, it's gone. No one cares. It's forgotten. You focus on the now, the here and now. You change your life today. When people take a step to change their life, remember, it's the decision made in the moment that changes your life. Yeah, do not hold on to the past. I want you to go in, Christian, like I said. Subtext, change your subtext. You're going in, you're like with no negativity. Whatever the positivity is there or not is irrelevant. Don't go in with negativity. Your subtext will play out. You manifest what you think. You manifest how you speak to yourself. When a lot of people say, "Oh, I'm going to get robbed, or I'm going to get scammed," when they say these things, it happens. Why? Because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Remember, the victim was a victim before he became the victim. That's the bottom line. You know the old saying, you've lost the fight. What did they say about Mike Tyson? We talk about martial arts. Most of his opponents were lost before they stepped into the ring because they walked in with that self-doubt. Why did they do the trash talking in martial arts? People don't realize it's not because any of it has any direct effect, but if you can plant the seed and create a doubt in the other person's mind, it's that mental weakness. If you can plant when you can put doubt in someone, that seed will grow and manifest into negativity. And the difference is that plays out in your actions. Teddy Atlas said himself, 90% is mental. The fight is 90% mental. This applies to all aspects of life. So, Christian, I want you to, again, I am doubling down on my message. You're going to be going in with a different self-talk, different monologue, different speech, because you're a different man now. Last year's gone. It's history, bro. There's been 12 months between then and now. Your life starts now. It's today. The relationship starts today. Go and manifest that. Right. Let's go back to Cashew. All right, Farouk, I followed your work from the earlier days. I've seen you grow from strength to strength in your own way and style. Absolutely, Cashew. Thank you. Appreciate that. It's inspirational to see the love you have for your children and the content you have made available to men going and in the court system. Cashew, we're just getting warmed up, yeah? Right now, we've just been winging it. Just been absolutely winging it, and here we are. Now it's time to get this strength. You said gone from strength to strength, growth. Like I said, pain can give you focus and direction, growth. When a person grows into his potential or the possible potential, now remember, everyone has potential, but not everyone has the drive, the courage, the knowledge, the roadmap, and the know-how, how to exploit it or how to go the path. You could have potential, but if you ain't got a roadmap, you'll still get lost. You can drive. Let me put it another way. You might know, everyone knows how to drive. You know how to drive, but without a roadmap, you're still going to get lost in it. People know how to travel, but without a roadmap, a guidance, direction, you can get lost. So now, with these 2 years, when you said going from strength to strength, I'm taking all the learnings, all the knowledge. I'm now going to we're going to now make it systematic. And we said my own way, we're now going to structure it, and going forward, the roadmap and knowledge will be put out there more structured, because like I said, there is no end goal, because growth happens every day and we're going to keep growing. This is it. Right, here we go. Zion, there we go. A question from Mr. Ryan. Why does he think in the case of domestic abuse, why Kafkas or the court can't give child contact through contact center? Any idea?
Yes, it's going back to my earlier comment, really, Zion, that the court will always take the safest option, and the safest option is no contact until they fully understand the implications of what is happening in front of them. Because heaven forbid that the court afforded somebody contact and something happened during that contact and the child was injured. The repercussions in the court would be massive. So they will always take the line of least resistance, the safest line, until they know that they have a degree of comfort to allow contact to go ahead. But I appreciate the frustration.
Right, look, we got a late runner, Darren, Mr. Darren. There's always one in it. Do you know what I mean? Late. There's always one, Darren. Do you know what I mean?
Darren. Come on, Darren, try and stay with us. Yeah.
Darren, if you want to make it up, like you can send in a super chat like Kashi. Like, look, Kashi, I am grateful for the communication you've both created and bless you both for being Superman. £125 super chat from Kashi. Kashi, appreciate that. Thank you. That money will now ensure I have food between now and New Year's. I'll be able to eat. I'll be able to eat now. Do you know what I'm saying? I was gonna go hungry, bro. I was gonna go to the shelter after this and try and get some turkey. Yeah, but listen, Kashi, thank you. I can now get a few morsels together that will keep me going. Appreciate that. And look, there's a positive message here, guys, from Kashi. I want all of you that are alone, that are not with your kids, I want you to read this and understand this. 84 weeks in the system. How long is that, Mr. Ryan? 12, 20. How long is 84 weeks? Over a year?
Well over a year. It was about 18 months. Yeah, it was about,
right, 18 months. So 84 weeks in the system. And finally got to spend a week with my daughter for her birthday. Time can heal us all. Now, I want you to just digest that for a second, yeah? In 84 weeks without your child, the cycles of emotion that you go through, the mental struggles that you go through, the highs and lows, what happens is, and what people don't realize is people end up doing something silly in those moments. But the ability to hold it together and just keep going, that's the key, can get you here. Now, if you give up, you will never know what was possible. Now, if Kashi gave up, say, with 50 weeks or 40 weeks or the 30 weeks, or let's say Kashi gave up at the 80th week. Listen, 84 weeks, after 84 weeks, he's there, innit? You know, there's a story that I keep remembering, right? I say story, it's history, right? Yeah. Was it Thomas Edison, the guy that invented the light bulb? Thomas Edison, yeah? He created the light bulb. I think they said it was over 1,000 attempts. He failed 1,000 times. Now, I want you to think of this mindset. This is what people don't understand. I want you to think of the mindset. What possesses any human being? Like I said, he failed once. He failed twice. He failed 3 times. Maybe if you fail 10 times, you might give up and think, I'm wrong. Maybe 50 times, 100 times. Look, most human beings, like I said, would have given up. Let's say the most average human being, 100th time. What possesses a human being to keep going over 1,000 times and then he gets it right? What if he'd have given up? What if he'd have given up at the 999th time? This is the point I'm making. The mindset, the human spirit, the will that drive, the mindset that cannot be broken. We all have this inside us. You just have to awaken it. And at the loss of your children and your loved ones, that, like I said, that pain will spark something inside you. You got to take that spark and you turn this roaring flame into like a generator and you press forward. Understand this, yeah? This is what I'm talking about. Don't give up. Keep going. You have no idea what the future holds. Just in this present moment, you're being tested. You just got to ride through the storm. That's exactly what it is. Hold on that roller coaster. Kashi, thank you for your input once again. Great positive story. Right, 5-star. Yeah, I understand. These are genuine questions to understand the process, but the shift of mind is important. Like you said, the most important thing, 5-star. Let me tell you something. The most important thing from all of this is the mindset. The mindset is what determines your action, how you behave. Subtext. I keep talking. When you're standing in court, yeah, your subtext will play out. The barrister, this is what they play on. They will say a little trigger word and you explode and they say, there you go, judge, told you he's a monster. Mindset is everything. Right, let's move along. Dean Smith, what are your views on journalists being present in the family courts next year? Right, Mr. Ryan, do you want to talk about this? Because there's a lot of chatter about this, I've noticed in a lot of places.
Yeah, this was on my list, actually, of things I was going to touch on. Yeah, so over the last couple of years, there's been a trial taking place in the courts where journalists have been available to go into. About half a dozen of the family courts have allowed journalists in. There are quite severe restrictions on those journalists. They can report a story, a family court matter, but they can't name the parties, they can't name the children, and they can't put addresses in. So it's quite limited in what they can report. But, you know, obviously for some stories, there's still a story there, and let's run with it. The court system has now decided that as of the beginning of January, every family court in England and Wales will have to allow access to journalists. Journalists will apply for what we call a transparency order, and they will be allowed to attend private law and public law hearings in order to report on them. The same restrictions will apply. They still can't name the parents who are involved. They can't name the children, obviously for fear of somebody recognizing them out in the street. But they can report on the circumstances of the case. Now, here's my concern about this. I think shining a bit of a light on the family court is a good idea. I think the transparency that has been lacking in the family court needs resolving. So maybe the journo thing will work. But my fear is that the journalists will take a look at the sort of court listings on a day, and they will report the more sensationalist cases. They won't report the mundane stuff. They won't report the fact that that mum and dad are fighting over their children, and this is their 13th hearing as a result of the court being so dreadful. They won't report on that because that's not interesting. What they'll report on is the parent who has been a domestic abuser, a horrendous domestic abuser. They'll report on that because it's more sensationalist and it attracts readers. The real story in the family court, and I hope that one of these journalists who appears on its door is brave enough to take this story on. But the real story in the family court is the inadequacy of the family court. The real story is flagging the lack of resource in the family court, flagging the lack of judges in the family court, flagging the fact that people wait months and months and months in between hearings in the family court. And as a result of that, children's childhoods are seeping away, and people's relationships with their children are being damaged, often permanently. So that's the real story. But I don't know if there is a journalist who is going to take that story on, because that requires more than just sitting in the court for an hour and reporting that parent A said that parent B beat them with a wooden spoon every Wednesday afternoon, which is a bit more sensationalist. So we will see. So my view, Dean, is that I think it's potentially a good thing that we now have increasing transparency in the court, but we need to see if somebody's going to take on the real story.
I think that's a very valid point. I think, look, initially this sounds good, looks good. Again, it's sensational. It's just to say journalists allowed in family courts for the first time. It sounds really good, doesn't it? But what cases will they pick? Will they pick the mundane stuff? Will they talk? The bottom line is, it's very unpopular. Look, let's put it into context. The whole father's right generally is an unpopular movement. It's so unpopular the fathers themselves don't bother to show up, yeah? So is a journalist going to take that on? Whereas now I don't want to make this gender-based and talk about the bias in court, but out of, like, for example, all the cases that make even LBC, say radio, is a case where a father who genuinely is an abuser has somehow got custody or something then has happened to him. It's those cases that make the media. Remember, the bad news and the popular trends are, and the world generally, society is, we've seen this. So what will the journalists pick up? This is the point. This is what it will come down to. Unless someone's got vested interest themselves where they've been through the system or they've suffered or they genuinely care about parents' rights, equal parenting rights, let's frame it like that, they might then highlight what is going on or pick those cases. But ultimately, yeah, I think let's wait and see. Look, I'm not going to be negative. Let's wait and see. You never know. Let's see what happens. Right. Hungry Hippo. Farouk, I hope your kids see all the videos and hard work, mate. Yeah, listen, so do I. Thanks to Mr. Ryan as well. Yep, so do I. And I myself, like I said, I'm on a journey of growth. I have to push myself. I have to try and think of new ideas and new ways to get closer to my kids one way or the other. Bottom line is, like, when I started all of this, like I said, I might not know my children, but I have to become or do something big enough to ensure that my kids know they know me and they know who I am. So yeah, I'm working on that still. Right, have you seen the recent news in journalists legal blogs allowed to report on family court cases across the? Yeah, we've just covered that. Right, here we go. Mr. What's it in my face, Mr. Zine? My question was, in the case of domestic abuse, why in the first place Kafkas and the courts don't give child contact through the contact center when whatsoever there isn't any risk posed to the child? And he's added on to that. So, I mean, after safeguarding done and Section 7 done.
It boils down to the circumstance of the case. It's very difficult for me to comment because obviously I get the impression you're talking about something very specific. Ordinarily, the court is keen to reconstitute relationship between absent parent and children as soon as humanly possible, be that through a contact centre or supervised contact or supported contact or whatever, or third-party intervention like using grandparents as supervisors. So they're keen to do that as soon as humanly possible. But if there are circumstances, obviously we're not aware of, that are causing their reticence to do that, their reluctance to do that, there is a reason for doing it. If I knew the circumstances, I may not agree with that reason for doing it, but there is some logic as to why they are choosing not to have contact at this stage.
Right, Mr. Ryan. We've got 20 minutes left. Comments we've caught up with now, questions we have caught up with. Is there anything else you'd like to cover? We've got 14 people watching now. Stream is fully warmed up. Anything else you want to cover or talk about before I?
Here's an interesting one. This has nothing to do with family law at all, but I heard it the other day on the radio and it amused me so much that I feel the need to share it. Dating apps. Oh, yeah. Obviously, there is a huge, and I appreciate this is relevant to you, Farouk. You'll be making notes here. There is a huge market in dating apps in this great land of ours, and indeed around the world. In Spain, now stay with me here. Stay with me. In Spain, there are certain times of the week when single people go to supermarkets because they know that is the time that other single people are also in the supermarket. There appears to be this sort of unwritten law on when that time of day is and which day of the week that is. Okay, so you think, all right, interesting. It goes further. If you are looking for a new partner, rather than going on a dating app, you can go into a Spanish supermarket once you've identified what this time of day is that you should be in there, or day of the week. Take a pineapple, turn that pineapple upside down in your trolley or basket, and that is a sign to all the other singletons in the supermarket that you are looking for love.
Is this legit? Like, this is legit, yeah?
This is real. This is a real thing, that in Spain, you turn a pineapple upside down in your trolley or basket when in the supermarket, and it is a clue to other singletons that you are happy to engage in conversation, possibly leading to a relationship. They have something similar in the States, where they use handkerchiefs hanging out of their back pockets, and depending on the color of the handkerchief and which pocket it's in, depending on what it is you're trying to do. That's a little bit darker, I have to be honest. But in the Spanish supermarket, get your pineapple, turn it upside down, and you are looking for love.
Is there anything that they do in East London that you might be aware of? Not for me, for a friend. Someone on the stream might want to know. If I appreciate in East London and they're looking for love or something along those lines. I mean, not for me, for the viewers.
No, I appreciate you're asking for a friend. In East London, apparently, if you go into the supermarket in East London and you take, let's think of something suitable, and you take a can of beans and put them upside down in your basket, you are clearly telling other people that you are looking for love. Yes, apparently it's beans in East London, whereas it's a pineapple in Spain, which is a bit more exotic, but apparently it's beans. And depending on which brand of beans you put in your can, depends on where it is your preference is. So think about that.
Well, look, I just want to put it out. I was thinking of being a bit more direct, just walk around with a cucumber in your basket. Show you put a cucumber if you're a bloke. Yeah. Stick a couple of cucumbers in your basket just to show what your intention is really.
Stroll around with your cucumber. Yes.
If you ain't got time to mess about, beans, spaghetti hoops. This all get confusing. The tin food to get confusing, right? But the emoji on the phone, like I said, people use to imply certain things are cucumbers or something along those lines. I'm saying cucumber in the basket will demonstrate your intentions straight.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I was thinking more like that, but
and listeners and viewers, that just explains very clearly why it is that Farouk is banned from every Morrison's in East London.
Listen, just stick to online. Listen, the future's online. Let's just stick to Tinder or whatever it is these days. Yeah, I think all good. Tinder, all good.
Indeed, yes, indeed. Yeah, so that's pineapples in Spain. I heard that on the radio. Well, weeks ago, actually. I heard it weeks ago, and it just amused me.
The only issue is look, Spain's a long way to go for a bit of shopping, bro. Like, do you know what I mean?
To be fair, it is, isn't it? You've got to pop over to Spain in order to try and engage with a single man or woman in a supermarket in Spain. Yeah, I appreciate that does add to the logistical difficulty of it. And I'm not sure if you'd, as you say, sort of stroll around Morrison's Stratford, with your pineapple, whether you're going to get the same reaction. It's difficult to say, really.
You get locked up. Listen, I remember you telling the story of a guy who walked into a shopping store, and then he was arrested later on down the line. Roadblock police, smashed his head on the floor, all of that. Yeah. So listen, in England, I could get you a non-molly. Just be careful, boys. Yeah.
That's true. Yes. No, that's very true.
Making gestures with fruit and veg in the superstore might get you a non-molly. So just like ease off. Yeah.
No, it's a very fair point. Yes. Yeah. We're clearly not as open-minded as the Spanish. So yeah, possibly we should just tread carefully.
Yeah. But listen, on that note, I think on that note, I just want to say a little message I have as we are nearing the end is today, because I feel this has been a very positive stream. I'm feeling very positive myself. I mean, after this, I'm going to go for a jog now. I'm going to go for a workout. It's Christmas Day, I know, but I'm going to work out, bro, because today, the moment, in the present, that's what it's all about. I want all of you that are viewers, the watching, that are going through the system now, that have been, like I said, that are in the trenches. Make a decision today to change your life. Make that decision now to say, right, today you're going to go for a walk or a jog or do some weights or whatever it is you can manage within your capacity. Clear your head. Go for that walk. Decide that you're going to start reading. You're going to start developing yourself. You are your biggest investment in all of this. Start inputting good information into your subconscious and your brain. Start reading educational books, academic stuff, personal growth. Start becoming better. Start exploiting and unearthing your own potential. Make that decision today and start that journey today.
All good advice. All very good advice. You're right. We in this great land of ours, we spend far too much time dwelling on the past. And far too much time dwelling on, what could I have done differently? And well, that never happened, or this did happen, or that didn't happen. We can't change the past. The only thing that we have any control over is what's going to happen in an hour, what's going to happen in a day, what's going to happen in a week. And that's where we need to focus. And I often say with my clients, we have a hearing and it might be a bad hearing. We say it's a bad hearing. It's done. We'll get past it. We'll move on. We'll get ourselves ready for the next one.
Absolutely.
So yeah, focus. Positivity, as you mentioned earlier, positivity is what it is all about. Otherwise, we will very quickly sink into the doldrums. And I'm not going to bring this. I'm not going to bring this broadcast down, but obviously because we've talked about this before. But eventually you get to a point where you can't go on anymore, and I don't want anybody in that position. So we stay focused.
Right. Okay. We've got a few more comments here and some positive comments. So we're going to touch on to. Right. 5-star again. Let's address this. That's another thing to think about, being cautious and getting into a relationship as the ex-mum's behavior will 100% get worse and the contact will get worse as well. Again, 5-star is how you talk to yourself. You are manifesting negativity. You are manifesting negativity before you've even entered a relationship. Like I said, change your monologue. Be strategic. Don't rub it. And this is what I say to fathers. If you do get with a woman, if you are lucky enough to find a half decent, partner, let's use the word partner. I don't want to label or, anything. If you are lucky enough to find a reasonable, level-headed partner, again, play the game. Do not slap it all over Facebook and Instagram. And, first time you see your kid that week when she got a girlfriend, you introduce your child to that girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever. Play the game. Lay low. Good things. People don't advertise. If you got something good going, don't advertise it to the world. Just keep it quiet. Lay low. Don't, if you're going to get married, don't rub it in the face. You got to play the game. Remember what we said is strategic, but don't be negative. Don't think about that. The fact is, your child, you and your ex made a child together. You are going to be connected throughout life. You are connected to your ex-partner forever, ultimately through your child. Remember this. Even if they're playing up, you need to navigate this so you get to a place where you can coexist, co-parent. That's where you want to get to. I understand you're angry, frustrated. There might be some hate there, but listen, eyes on the prize is your child, and you need to get the ex into a place where she's happy to tolerate you, or she's not even thinking about you. You need to get her to a place where she don't even give you a second thought. Yeah, because co-parenting is what's going to make this journey easier throughout the years. Right, let's talk to another comment. See, this is a positive comment. Right now, Mr. Zion, everything you were saying and asking, contact center, you're focusing on what you don't have. You're not focusing on what you do have. I am currently allowed to talk to my son twice a month and visit him once a month, right? Let me tell you the reality of the situation, Zion, because people, regardless of that, it's a bad situation. Let's look at the positives. I know guys who haven't seen or spoken to their children for 8 years. I know people that have not seen their children for 10 years. I know people that the possibility of them ever having is gone. A lifetime has gone by. The fact is, you talk to your son twice a month and you see him once a month. You are present in his life. If you play your cards right, if you focus on the long-term goal, you're focusing still on your short-term pain because you miss him. It hurts. And instead of focusing on the fact that what you do have, how you're going to build on this, how you can make this whole situation work for you, the long-term strategy and goal, keeping that bond strong, keeping those moments as quality bonding time rather than focusing on what you don't have, I think you're missing the trick here. Embrace these moments with your son, use them to build that bond, that strength, and just slowly now you can build on that contact. Because remember this, when you've had no contact for long periods of time, that's what does the damage. You've got contact, means you have a bond, means you're involved in your son's life. That is priority. You need to be focusing on, how do I navigate whatever is put in front of me to get to the end goal? Whether it's this Section 7 contact center, the system doesn't allow this, they don't allow. Forget what you're not allowed. Don't let what you can't do stop you from doing what you can do. That's the difference. You're focusing on what's not available. Shift your mind to what is available. What can I do? How do I exploit this? Everything is mindset and how you approach it. You can't change the external, but you can change you. You can change the internal, how you approach the situation, how you react to a situation. You can change you. The only thing you control in this life, in this world, is you and how you react. The universe ain't going to change, but you can change you. Change your mindset to say, right, how do I build on this? What mechanisms or tools are available? How do I exploit this to my advantage? Change your lens. That's what you need to do. And that's the positive here. You've got contact. That's all I'm seeing. You've got contact. You see your son and you speak to him. What's the issue? Yes, you'd like to see him every day. I get it. How are you going to get there? That's the objective. It's not a wish list. It's an objective. Strategic steps. What are you going to do about it? That's the key. That's how you need to approach this. This is what I'm talking about.
Hear, 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 hear.
I feel this limits our bond. I want to pursue more frequent contact. I need advice on how to request a modification to the area. This is what I'm talking about. This is good. Mr. Ryan, do you want to just comment on just quickly how?
Very quickly.
I mean,
very quickly.
Professional service from you.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, if to try and build on contact. Number one, you need to be able to demonstrate that your contact has gone incredibly well. Secondly, unless you've got two options really to build on contact: mediation, professional mediation, where you invite the mother and yourself to go into mediation and see whether she will reasonably allow you to increase the contact, or you will agree increase contact. If that doesn't work, then unfortunately it is a recourse back to court, and you apply to court again in order to strengthen, broaden, and increase your contact base. Neither of them are wonderful options, but they are the options in order to move the matter forward if you can't have a sensible conversation with the other parent.
Right, got a positive message here from Mr. Muhammad. Thanks both from the bottom of my heart. I got to have my children stay over at mine after almost a year. There you go. Look, positive vibes right there. Story of Jacob and Moses, mother for inspiration. God bless. Mackenzie equals genuine and affordable. Great message. Very spiritual. He's gone into what the prophets have been through. Even prophet. Listen, if I remember a story, was it? I forgot which prophet. I need to polish up my story. He didn't see his son for 40 years. There was a prophet. He was separated from his son. This is biblical. This is in the Quran. This is in the Bible. This is the, you say what humanity has been through. Prophets went through these trials and tribulations. Who are we? Do you know what I mean? Right, 5-star. Now he gets it. Positive mindsets. I've met so many parents on this journey who were denied contact, and now they have a striving relationship with their children. Exactly. Remember this: bad news travels fast. Bad news sells, and this is the only problem and the criticism I have of fathers groups is people who are in dire straits, in dire turmoil, all telling each other these horror stories, which then drag each other down and kill any hope they have, which then affects their action, which then gets some bad results. Remember this: you are what you surround yourself with. Unfortunately, that's the only criticism I have. They're good to have support, and talk to other people, but be very careful of listening to these horror stories, because the good stories, the positive stories, they don't make it out. They're not popular. The human brain is wired to think of the worst case scenario. The human brain absorbs negativity. Remember this. Right, here we go. Very true. Dwelling on the past crushes you. Think dwelling won't help my kids. How can I ensure I'm stronger, positive, and not broken from when reunited? They sense things, and the truth prevails, inshallah. Truth prevails. Absolutely, my brother. You're bang on. That's exactly right. Right, guys, we've got a few more minutes. I'm going to read through some of these comments. We'll have a final conclusion from Mr. Ryan, and we're going to wrap it up. What would you recommend parents do in order to build this positive mindset? Books, podcasts. There you go. This is a very good question, Mr. 5-star. If you look throughout even my earlier podcasts, my earlier videos, and look, I tend to coach a lot of people. I would say before even all this happened to me, I didn't believe in coaching, but I coach a lot of men. I do provide a paid service where I coach people. I help people unearth their potential. I show people the steps to try and survive and get through this. So look, tap me up if you want some of that. Next year, like I said, I'll be taking the coaching along with Mr. Ryan to another level. But yes, start reading positive things. Surround yourself by positive people. Remove negativity out of your life. Cut out negativity and stop absorbing negativity. You got to be very careful who you expose yourself to and what negativity you listen to. Start reading books. Remember, we recommended a book the other day, 48 Laws of Power. I want you to go and read that book to start with. Understand human behavior, human interactions, how these things work. Start with that. Reading books. And the fact that you're thinking about this is the first step. The fact that you've thought about building a positive mindset, you've taken an actionable step. That's the first step. Now keep building on that step. Next step, start reading, start looking into these areas, listening to certain influencers, podcasters and whatnot, Yusuf alayhi salam and Yaqub alayhi salam. Yeah, so he's talking about the prophet that was separated from his son is Yusuf alayhi salam and Yaqub alayhi salam. Absolutely, 5-star, absolutely. Mr. Ryan, you're looking like you're tired there. You're looking like you're struggling there. Any final closing comments?
Closing comments. Yeah, I mean the day is young. What time is it? 11:12. The day is young. I don't know what it's like in East London, because obviously the weather's always dreadful down there. But up here we've got blue sky. Up here in the Midlands, I've got blue skies. The sun is shining. It's incredibly mild. There are guys out there, there are girls out there who are spending the day with their families and spending the day with their children, and those people are blessed. And there are parents out there who, for whatever reason, are not spending the day with their children. And I'm not going to say for 1 minute that those people are in the wrong place. I'm going to say that right now they're just not in the right place. And that's pursuing Farooq's positive mindset. So you've got to maintain the faith. You've got to maintain the hope. You've got to maintain the fact that in 2025, there's a new year coming. It's fresh. We've done nothing to mess it up yet. So anything is possible. So those of you who are in proceedings, keep the faith, keep talking to your legal advisor, your legal team, whoever that might be, in order to make sure that what you are getting is foresight in terms of what is happening in your proceedings, and what it is that you could be doing in order to move them forward. But whilst all of us are going through our day and our week and our month, just be aware of the fact that there are children out there that are associated with all of us, who are waiting for us to re-engage with their childhoods, because they don't forget about us.
Absolutely. For my closing comments, I'm going to read out the last comment on the stream from Muhammad Ahmed. Focus on what you have compared to those in worse situations and believe in kind of predestiny. Solid advice and mindset. You are strong and use your pain to elevate so many. Du'as and prayers to you both. Walaikum salam, brother. I think that's a very nice, positive comment, and I think everyone should take heed. It's been a positive broadcast. And my only thing I will say is, make a decision today to change your life. We are where we are. We've ended up here. Let's start looking at why we ended up here, what we were lacking, what we can work on, what we can learn, how we can progress. Let's look to the future. Everyone have a good day. You're all in my thoughts and prayers, and I'm praying for all of you, your children, and all your families. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep fighting. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, follow, and share, and we will see you on the next one. I'll cut this out.